Hello everybody, back again with the subject of protein. Okay, let's start because I'm already late. Sorry about that again. I just cannot stop. Just I wanna finish the whole subject. Okay, so let's start with protein. What is protein? Protein means building blocks. Okay, in our body there are amino acids. Like in the food we're eating, there are amino acids. So the protein molecule is like consists of all those amino acids. Okay, amino acid is building blocks. What's the job of protein? What does protein do in our body? Protein's main job is to make us grow. Okay, for everything, like for every living, protein works to make that human being or animal or plant to grow. Okay, but until the growth reaches to top like highest level, so protein is important, but after that, it's not that important because growth is already complete, right? So after that, it's important only for like some hormones, enzymes, for those kind of little things. Like for example, if we're active, we're building muscles, there are little tears in those muscles to prepare those kind of things. For example, we have a little wound, then protein is important, like clotting factors, for those kind of things. So it's not a huge deal, and we have a lot of protein stored in our body anyway that is recycled. Okay, let's look at it. So are we getting enough protein? So even for newborn babies, the mother's milk, newborn baby is the one that needs the protein most, right? Even mother's milk is only 6% protein. So that's why asking this to ourselves, am I getting enough protein? It's just, if you're eating enough calories, it means you are getting enough protein. Okay? Only people who are on weight loss drugs, injections like Ozempic, Wegovy, those people, because they don't have enough appetite because of the side effect from the medication, then maybe those people may be protein deficient. They lose muscles, right? Especially if they are not lifting weights, right? So protein amount, recommended protein amount, depends on the gender, age, activity level. Okay, if they are losing any of these weight loss medications or supplements, that affects the protein needs. Okay, so contrary to all the hype that everyone needs more protein, most people in the United States meet or exceed their needs, especially according to Mayo Clinic. That's true for males ages 19 to 59. The dietary guidelines of Americans 2025 indicates that men in that age range exceeds their protein recommendation, especially from meat, poultry, and eggs. That's very, very dangerous way of consuming proteins, especially if they are not eating the lean parts of those meats. Even athletes often get more protein than they need. With the supplements, they are doing a lot of protein powders. They are consuming more calorie than they need in the bulking phase, especially. More food, more protein, right? So, if we want to keep our muscle mass or build muscle mass, the key is not consuming more protein. The key is being more active, lifting heavier weights, progressive overload. So these are the methods to building muscle. It's not increasing the protein amount. So in adults, daily recommended amount of protein is 5%, 5 to 10% of daily calorie intake. Okay, according to this, normal gram of protein for ladies around 45 grams a day, and for men average 55 grams a day. So if the person is obese, it's still the same, because we have to calculate this according to the ideal weight. Okay, we should not exceed just because we are heavier. Okay, so for example, someone 50 kilo, a lady, is like 44, 40, for example, because 0.8 times of the kilogram weight. Okay, 50 kilogram lady needs 40 grams of protein a day. So 75 kilo man needs 60 grams a day. So we can calculate it like that. So, but interestingly, if you put it in one of those apps like MyFitnessPal, for example, or Lose It, there are these calorie counting apps. So try it one day. You put all the food you normally eat, you're going to see that the protein amount is enough, even if you eat all plant sources. So you don't need to increase the protein amount. Okay, so excess protein in the body doesn't get stored anywhere. Okay, that's why it's not good. That's why it's dangerous. So it gets stored as fat. It gets broken down into amino acids, and then liver metabolizes it and use it. So when there is need for clothing, this and that. But excess protein, what do we do with it? Like, it's big load for our kidneys. Okay, the kidneys are trying to filter it out when there is excess. It's very acidic. It's like nitrogen load is too high. It's just like it causes kidney damage basically. Okay, so the other reason why we shouldn't worry about getting protein daily from outside, especially on the days you're fasting, where is the protein coming from? We even have protein your body can collect, and you know there are those misfolded protein, just too much protein, it's like blocking places. So your body can recycle those. Okay, 100 to 300 grams of protein it can cycle a day. So that's why on those fasting days you're just not like getting protein deficient. Okay, so years and years I've been looking at kids, adults blood levels of protein. I've never seen anybody deficient in protein. Okay, so doesn't matter you're eating grass, it doesn't eat fruits, vegetables, or doesn't matter you're eating meat, eggs, you won't be protein deficient. Just opposite. If you limit the protein amount in your diet, it may be beneficial for you. Protein restriction was put to the test. The best, most interesting study of these, how protein restriction helps the body, is Walter Longo's study. Dr. Walter Longo in 2017 studied 86 people. He did this fasting mimicking diet. He gave 800 to 1,100 calories a day to the subjects. So he did it over 3 months. Those people biologically were 2.5 years younger at the end of the study. In 3 months, they got 2.5 years younger by just restricting the calories and restricting the protein this way. So after that, Dr. Walter Longo wrote this book, Longevity Diet. Okay, you can read it if you want, or if you want, I can read it and I can come up with the details. I know some of the details, but it's a book that I have to read to be able to talk about it. So, okay, so this longevity diet, you see, if you don't consume a lot of protein, you live longer. So, according to Dr. Longo, 20% protein in the diet, in this study, compared to 10% protein people in diet. For those people, 20%, they had cancer and diabetes risk dying from those were 4 times higher. From other diseases, it was 2 times higher. So, as you know, this is, one study. There are many, many studies. Also, there are epidemiologic, proof for this. These blue zones. All the blue zones, one of the common thing about them is low protein. Their diet consists of low protein. They don't eat meat much. They don't consume a lot of animal protein. Okay? They just eat plant-based protein. So, if you're curious about that, there is a book, there is a documentary, the longevity, the blue zones. So you can watch that. Okay, does a bigger steak equals to bigger muscles? Okay. Although adequate protein throughout the day is necessary, extra strength training is the one that's going to give you muscle mass, not the extra protein. If you're not using those muscles, that protein is not going to go into your muscles. That's going to go to your kidneys and it's going to damage the kidneys. You will be spilling protein. The kidney's job is to hold on to protein, not to spill the protein. Okay? So, you're going to be damaging and it's going to start extracting the protein. So, as I said, your body cannot store the protein. Okay? So, if you're increasing protein intake, you need to increase the weightlifting as well. Okay? So, how much protein do you need? As I said, 0.8 gram you're going to calculate it with. For every kilogram body weight, 0.8 you're going to calculate. So, if you exercise regularly, or people over age 50, we know sarcopenia is real. Osteoporosis is real. Osteoporosis mainly happens because of sarcopenia. We lose muscles there. We lose bones as well. So, for those people, elderly, I'm one of those too, right? Or age over 50. So, it's recommended to take 1 gram per kilo or 1.2 gram per kilo. But please, let's not misunderstand this. If you're increasing the protein, it means that you need to increase the activity level as well. It's just not going to, just increasing the protein is not going to just build your muscles like magically. Okay? You need to do the work. Okay? Okay, so 10% protein intake even is enough for athletes, okay? Lisa Osborne, gymnast, very famous Olympic gymnast, say that she got the best result when she kept the protein 10% of her daily calories and increased the good carbs to 80% of her daily calories. So even Olympic athletes, they don't need to consume extra protein. Okay, what happens when we eat too much protein? Okay, we say that protein is building blocks, right? We really need it until the growth completes. So even after childhood, we keep eating this protein, right? What are we gonna do with this? It's just like building blocks coming, okay? Bricks coming, okay? So we built a house is done, and then we're still piling up on the bricks. So what are we gonna do with this extra bricks? It's just too much load. It's ugly, right? So it's just too much around everywhere. So it's like that. It's just that simple, okay? It's a load for your liver, your kidneys, whole your body. It's toxin, okay? And your protein, your kidneys have to keep dumping that protein. Okay, so even now, like in 8-year-old, 10-year-old kids, we started eating. We started seeing that they are eating too much protein. There is protein in their urine. I mean, even at that age, their kidneys are damaged already. So we have to be more aware about this protein thing, because nitrogen load, especially in animal protein, is very toxic for kidneys. Okay, that's why there's this BUN, broad urine nitrogen, right? So and EGFR numbers. So if it's going down from 90, and also there's protein in urine, that's stage 2 kidney disease already. Okay, so and many people are like that, unfortunately. But if we cut the protein, we get great results. I recently reversed someone's stage 4 kidney disease to stage 1, okay, from 50s to 85. Okay, it is possible by reducing the animal protein. But of course, the other things to keep the blood sugar under control, keep the blood pressure under control, and also, sodas and, those acidic stuff, and also salt even. So, but animal protein is the, main problem for the kidneys. So if you're reducing the animal protein, you're reducing the nitrogen load on the kidneys, okay? So switch to plant-based if your kidney function is under 90, EGFR. If it's under 90, you need to switch to plant-based, okay? And the other side effects of protein, too much protein consumption: constipation, cancer, all the rheumatoid conditions, autoimmune conditions, gout disease. Okay, people eat huge steak, next day they wake up with this gout attack. Okay, all the joint diseases like bone loss, kidney problems, we say, and liver, fatty liver, and aging, early aging. Okay, I see people who never eat meat, who don't eat meat after a certain age, they look younger. But there are people, they eat a lot of meat, and then you see them 1-2 years later, they looks like they age like 10 years. So that's one of the driving mechanisms for early aging. Okay. So also, protein is acidic, right? Especially animal protein, acidic. That's why your body's buffer mechanism, one of them is, of course, the bones and the mineral dumping, the minerals dumping calcium. Calcium, how important it is. We worry about our calcium intake. It's the same thing, right? So you worry about your calcium intake, but you don't work out. You worry about your protein intake, but you don't work out. So you have to do the job. Also, then you eat those acidic things, your buffer mechanisms had to work harder and dumping the calcium to be alkalizing the body. Your buffer mechanism are going to keep dumping good minerals. So you're going to be mineral deficient, losing the bones, losing the teeth, you know, developing all those kidney stones, for example. So try to choose your protein wisely after especially some certain age. Okay. Okay, so in animal protein also there is methionine, leucine. Those are, you know, increasing the growth hormones highly, and also, you know, especially certain age you don't need growth hormone, right? It's like you know, it's like multiplying cells, so which is cancer. Okay, so where should your protein come from? Okay, so plant sources such as nuts, seeds, beans, lentils. Lentils are the great source of protein. Okay, you ask all those vegan bodybuilders, they are gonna tell you lentils and sweet potato. Okay, that's real. It's really muscle building when you're exercising. And according to Mayo Clinic, is fish or seafood. It's the second. Egg whites are there. You know, they worry about the cholesterol too. That's why they don't include the egg yolks. So lean meats such as skinless, white meat, chicken or turkey is in the list. So dairy has to go. Dairy is very inflammatory. Okay, so try your best to avoid the dairy. Even if you're consuming all those other, like, just avoid the dairy. Okay, a lot of saturated fat in it. It's gonna drive your cholesterol levels high. Just a lot of increase your inflammatory markers. Just don't do it. Okay, so try not to rely on like meats, like processed meat, like sausages, for example, salamis, those kind of things, because a protein ratio is off there. And those people who manufacture that, they don't even have any idea how much protein you need to consume, if it's like good fat or not. Just, they don't care. Okay, just try to do lean meat, that, you know, try to do, just get it the whole thing, not processed. Okay, for vegan sources too, of course, try to do it more like whole food instead of processed. Okay, so I just want to give you guys some idea what's the plant protein amount equal to like vegan protein. For example, meat is lamb 32.8 gram, almost 33 grams, right? Eggs are 28, you know, normal size egg is 28 grams. Peanuts are 26. So the comparison is like, for example, chicken breast 23, lentils are 23 too, the same amount, the grams, and they have the same gram of protein. So if you have problems with your kidneys, for example, it started going downhill, EGFR, just switch to lentils. Okay, because again, vegan plant-based sources have lower nitrogen load on kidneys. Okay, that's why it's more preferred. Okay, so, and some people prefer eating protein heavily because you know, they want to feel the satiety, but there's the satiety index. It's developed by this Australia University, Sydney University, if you can search. So protein is not the only thing that gives you satiety. Okay, potatoes, for example, clean carbs, very very low protein, but potatoes are number one in the satiety index. Okay, you may want to look at that. For example, even oats, right? Oats are 14 grams of protein. You know, they have good carbs too. So that's one of the food items that give you good satiety. Okay. So, okay, I get some questions. Is animal protein and plant protein equal? So plant protein is, you know, animal protein has more like complete protein. Plant protein is missing amino acids. So it's not important, because all the protein molecules we're eating is getting into amino acids, like broken down into amino acids anyway, and your liver is synthesizing it from all those amino acids. So you're not gonna be like deficient for, oh, this amino acid is missing. No, because it's broken down, it's made again, okay? So, but if you're really crazy about that, you want to consume complete plant-based protein, there are some examples for this. For example, lentils, peas, hemp, buckwheat, quinoa, chia, okay, and soy. These are complete proteins, okay? But as I told you, it does not matter, okay? Okay, so let's see why animal protein is also different than the plant-based protein. Because of the side effects too, like, you know, profile. Animal protein doesn't have fiber. Animal protein has a lot of fat. Especially you're choosing the fatty part. Saturated fat is really bad. It increases the cholesterol. It increases the risk of heart disease, metabolic disease, autoimmune diseases, okay? But plant-based protein, clean, right? A lot of fiber, minerals, vitamins, okay? These are important. You need to feed not only your stomach, you need to feed your cells too. To be able to feed yourself at a cellular level, you need to consume fruits and vegetables, you know? We always say this, right? Okay, so even if you're consuming, let's say at weekend, nice, as a family, you guys are gonna have good hearty breakfast, right? Let's say you're making an omelette. Put a lot of vegetables in that omelette, like overwhelmingly, so that that protein amount you're putting in it, just like the eggs, just like 5% compared to the whole omelette, right? Like broccoli, put like mushrooms, spinach, onions, peppers, like a lot of vegetables, okay? And that way you can make that, you can undo the damage that's coming from animal protein, right? So you can turn it to alkaline, you know, majority is alkaline even before it reaches your stomach while you're eating, okay? So just make your eating habits around fruits and vegetables like this, so that little animal protein doesn't harm you, okay? Okay. If you have kidney damage, you have kidney disease, let's say, if you're not able to consume a lot of protein, you know, there are dietitians who tell you, you know, they consume those amino acids, and you know, if you're worried about too much protein, animal protein, then fasting is going to help you with protein restriction, calorie restriction, so that you feel younger, you look younger, your cells are younger, okay? So less protein, less aging. Okay, so if your EGFR, even before you get to EGFR, it's a very simple test. If you get a urine test and if you're checking the protein to see if there is protein in the urine or not, even that's a very valuable test. Then maybe you can go for EGFR. If you're spilling protein, that's bad news, okay? So the job of the kidney is to hold on to protein, not spill the protein, okay? So please do it at least once a year, part of your annual exam. Okay, so what did we say? What time to eat the protein better? So some people are asking that. The best time to eat protein is, there is no like particular time, but when you break your fast. Okay, if you're breaking your fast in the morning, just in the morning, or you know, you fast until lunch, that's your breakfast, then eat good amount of protein, but try not to exceed 30 grams. 15 to 30 grams per sitting is enough. After 30, you're risking damaging your organs, okay? Because after 30 grams, it doesn't even get absorbed. That's just extra load, okay? 15 to 30 grams is enough. Okay, So okay, some people are asking about protein supplements. So what can we do? So it's best to, if you're into bodybuilding, or if you're trying to increase protein intake for an elderly, let's say, it's best to consume protein from not protein shakes, protein powders, from meal replacements, because it's more whole protein, right? Protein, isolated protein is again big load for the kidneys. So if you can do it like meal replacement shakes, there are mushrooms in it, all those fibers, they add there are all these minerals, there's algae superfoods like antioxidants. So meal replacements are better. I recommend meal replacements. Okay, so but let's say you're consuming protein powder, please at least try to choose your protein powder from plant-based, not animal-based. Please don't go for whey protein or casein. Okay, very inflammatory. It's gonna do more harm for you than the good. Okay, because remember, recovery is the part of the deal. If you cannot recover, if you have an inflammatory process because of this bad protein powder, then you cannot train again. Okay, so it's very important that you choose at least your isolated protein if you're consuming from the plant-based. Okay, so other things you need to be careful about in a protein powder is it should not contain more than 2 grams of saturated fat. So that's usually with whey protein, right? So make sure it's less than 2 grams of saturated fat. And sugar needs to be less than 5 grams, okay, in a scoop, so in recommended amount. So it should have about 200 or fewer calories, no more than that, okay? And it should not have any trans fat or any omega-6 inflammatory fats, okay? So these are my recommendations to you. Okay, so we're finishing today. Again, we're late, sorry. So next week I'm planning to talk about the challenge that's upcoming April 14. We're starting this summer by the challenge, so I'm gonna start my training videos. If you have any questions, please write. I'll answer as soon as possible. Okay, have a great weekend this weekend, and I'll see you again next week. Yeah, please write your questions, I'll answer. Okay, bye.